Mic check. Drop. Hold mics like ponytails tight and bobble ops. Stop, stick around, come through and dig the sound of
And it's so time consuming. Like, bro, enjoy your vacation. Ugh.
Yeah, I can't. I would never buy timeshare.
Yeah, I can't let your mom sleeps at night. Ugh.
Yeah. This is going in there. This is how we're starting it off. She watches them too. She's going to be laying in bed and be like, what the fuck?
It's just so icky. It's so icky.
I don't know. I feel like those people ultimately, like, I mean, yeah, it is, because I used to sell cars, and I sold, like, this, I still feel guilty about it to this day. I was just talking about it the other day. I sold a Nissan Titan. We bought it for, like, $4,000 at the car dealership, and I sold it for, like, $23,000 at, like, a 9% interest rate to this family that was struggling.
Oh, my God.
And I was just like, I actually quit that job because of that. And also because of the sexual harassment. But
oh, yeah. I can handle one thing, but not two things.
Once you throw in the fucking up other people's life, you can fuck up my life, but you're fucking up somebody else's life. I can't do it.
Oh, my God.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a sleazy job for sure. I don't think I've ever gone back to sales since then. Now I just work for the corporate bullshit, but that's everybody.
Well, it pays for this, so I think it's worth it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I complain every day, but I'm just like, you know what? I wouldn't be where I am if I just stuck it out. Just stick it out.
I'm at 2 years since quitting my like salaried job, and on my face, like on my memories, I saw where I was keeping up with my unemployment journal, and then I was unemployed for so long. The journal was just like, okay, well, it's really sad now, actually, that we have this unemployed journal. You know?
Yeah. What was your worst job that you ever had that you'd be open to talking about?
I'd be open to talking about. I've had pretty good jobs, to be honest. I guess I worked at a donut shop briefly for a month and a half. Well, 3 months, yeah. I mean, that's fine. It was fine. It was just one of those cliches where, like, literally new management. And I was like, oh, everyone's been talking about. You hear about new management on, like, sitcoms and stuff. But like, when it affects your actual life, you're like, oh, new management really came in here and messed everything up. Like, the old manager was really cool with my schedule and me leaving at 11. But now I have to stay till 1. I'm like, no, I have dogs to walk. I got to get out of here. So. Yeah, I feel that. So where did you grow up? Because I really don't know much about you at all besides what, you know, I rarely see you. Yeah. I really don't. But yeah, so where did you grow up in Florida? Yeah, okay. I'm from Florida. I grew up in Lake City, which is just north of Gainesville. Yeah. And then I moved down to Orlando in 2013 to go to UCF. So I was at UCF for 4 years. Then when I graduated, I worked on cruise ships up until the pandemic.
Okay, what did you do at UCF?
I
study. Yeah, I guess I should say. What did you do?
I was like, I did a lot actually. I did a lot. I studied hospitality management and marketing. My main thing was I wanted to work on cruise ships. So, yeah. But while I was there, what I did was I was the mascot. So I was in classes, but I was also at everything else in this gold suit. So. Yeah.
So what drew you to want to do something like that?
Mascotting. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was always enthusiastic is a word thrown out about me a lot. And in high school, I was like class president and spirit. I led the pep rallies and everything. And then when I got to UCF my freshman year, we just had a really good football season. So I like was in it from the get-go. And then I wanted to go to everything. And at a basketball game, Nitro handed me a flyer about tryouts. Like, Nitro's the name of the UCF mascot. He handed me a flyer for the mascot tryouts. And I was like, oh, gosh, okay, well, I think this will be fun. He hands them to everybody. Like, I wasn't special, but it made me aware of the opportunity. And so I literally woke up that morning. I was putting my shoes on. I was like, you know what? This might not turn into anything, but at least I'll have a really good day. And then it turned into 3 years of a really good time.
What was the tryouts like?
So tryouts for I think a lot of mascotting tryouts do this. They want to make sure that you can think on your feet. It's a lot of improv, but they also do physical work too. So for the improv, it's like, well, yeah, this is a can, but what else can it be? So you have to like, oh, it's a phone or it's a football, like all these different things, and it gets passed around. Because Nitro has a sword, so it's like, well, it can be a guitar. You can joust with it. So it's a lot of improv games. Another improv game is like you try to get everybody to laugh, and it's super uncomfortable because you're trying to not laugh. Because if you laugh, then now you have to go up in the front and try to make everybody else laugh. And then for the physical stuff, we ran up a bunch of stairs and ran some laps and did push-ups. Because Nitro, after getting a touchdown, he would do push-ups. But luckily, he has a big head. So I just kind of, I didn't have to fully go down because Danielle cannot do push-ups. But Nitro has to do push-ups. So I had to make sure that Nitro was able to do them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that your first time having exposure to, like, the, comedy world? Really?
I would say like I was my really like the first time I did drama when I was in youth group growing up, and I did like the church drama team, but it wasn't comedic. It was okay. This is a emotional song where we have to show that the people who get drunk and pregnant are bad. So that's
yeah, and then Jesus dies.
And then Jesus sacrifices
That's
himself.
a crazy thing to have kids like doing.
Dakota and Kyle Forever on YouTube. I have all the videos there.
That's great.
Yeah, but mascotting was definitely a world that opened me up to just college in general, getting out of a small town in North Florida, and going to Orlando where they have everything. But yeah, definitely got exposed to comedy.
Yeah. So what did you do after college? When did you start stand-up in that era?
It took a little bit. So at UCF, my exposure to stand-up was for Pegasus Palooza. Like the opening week of school was Pegasus Palooza, and then they had homecoming, and then in spring they had another like welcoming event. But they always had a stand-up night. So I saw an hour of a comedian. So like I saw John Mulaney, Kenan Thompson, Ali Wong. So like I saw a comedian for an hour. But I studied abroad while in college, and I went to this comedy club in London, and it was a showcase. I'd never seen a showcase before where I saw like 5 or 6 comedians do 10, 12 minutes, and I was like, wow, that was so cool. Like they just get up there, and I can't remember any of their names, but I really liked that one. I liked that one. Oh, the girl was good, and that guy was cute, like that. And that was my exposure to a showcase. And then once I started working on cruise ships, I was in a comedy club every night because I have one on board. And I was like, I want to be around this all the time. And what I started doing is I traveled a lot after graduating because I was with cruise ships or I was off cruise ships for a couple months, so I got to travel. Top free things to do in every city is comedy. So I would always look up free comedy, and I would see comedy all over the world. And I saw a show in Singapore, and I just saw another man with a ukulele do comedy, and I was like, Jesus, if these guys keep getting up here with this sort of confidence, I really think I got to get on that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was what really pushed me to do it. And I was on board. I wasn't in the comedy club as like the manager, but the person who was, I helped him write some jokes, and I watched it succeed, and it made me feel like high in the back. I was like, oh my God, I wrote that. That was so cool. And I was like, I want to do more of that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So when I got back to land, I signed up for SAC. I did a couple weeks with the comedy class there. I'm a comedy school dropout because I went back to cruise ship, so I never graduated. But yeah, so I started the class at the end of 2018, and then did my first ever open mic and really got into it in 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Holy shit, you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, but it was weird because I was on land for just 3 months, and I disappeared for another 6. And when I came back, it was March of 2020, so it wasn't it wasn't the market for comedy. And then I disappeared for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So I say I started in 2019, but I've been consistent since 22.
Yeah. But either way, that's still a long time.
Yeah.
It's still a really long time. Because I started in the end of 2023. It's been barely 2 years for me, so that's a lot of work.
Yeah, but who has a podcast and a comedy club? So time doesn't mean anything.
Sucking up the career. That's what it is. No, yeah. But that's cool. So you like it in Florida? Do you think you would, like, if you could leave and go stay somewhere else, still do comedy, everything, where would you go?
I've always loved Chicago. Like, I've dreamt of going to Chicago and being there more long term. I've been there for a couple of days, and I've done like literally June of 2019. I did like 2 or 3 open mics in Orlando, and then I traveled for my birthday, and I did Chicago and New York. Just coincidentally, that's where I was going. And then I did more comedy in Chicago and New York than I had done in Orlando in my 2 weeks of ever being an open micer, at least. But yeah, I would love Chicago. I think realistically it makes more sense. New York is amazing. It's just actually living there is terrifying. Like where's that money coming from? But Chicago seems more approachable. But yeah,
Chicago would be interesting to go to. I know Brian Milligan went up there because his daughter's going to school up there. But that would be cool to see. I'm excited to see New York City, but I'm going like blind eyes.
Yeah,
like
it's
on
pay
my
to play
own.
there, baby. You gotta have money. Yeah.
I'm gonna just need cash.
Yeah.
Like, here's $5 so I can go talk.
3 p.m. open mics in a cellar,
minutes.
and you pay $5. You're like,
Yeah.
and the only other people there are comics, and you're supposed to be working on new stuff, and then one patron walks in, you're like, oh, I really gotta show off right now.
Yeah. So it'll be an interesting experience to be in a different group.
Yeah.
Like a different type of people.
I did. I road tripped up to North Dakota a couple months ago, and on my way back, I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and I accidentally was in the same place of an open mic happening, and I knew something was happening so I road tripped up to North Dakota. I had not seen black people in ages, and I was walking into this venue, and there are 2 black guys outside, and they were like teasing me about, oh, you got to watch it for the black people, and I was like. And it didn't, and I was like, why does this conversation feel normal to me? And I was like, oh, because it feels like home, like you're back in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I'm walking in, and all of a sudden, like, the way cooler music than what I've been hearing for the last 2 weeks has been playing. The doors are opening. I go, comedy is happening. I was like, no wonder there's black people here. And they're like, come on, girl. I was like, yay. And I even told them, I was like, I knew something awesome was happening because I've seen people who aren't white for the first time in 2 weeks.
God forbid.
It was so cool because I was like, because when you travel and you do open mics in other places, you kind of like show off. But I'm like, I don't want to just do my biggest hits. I also want to show that I can work a room with a different environment and like different backgrounds. So I worked that in. I worked like some of my road trip stuff and then did some of my normal stuff. But I was like, okay, yeah, it's so random in Omaha. But it was, yeah. And I met a guy, he had moved to Omaha from Little Rock. He was like, yeah, the scene just wasn't doing it for me in Little Rock. So I had to move to Omaha. And I go, wow, who knew Nebraska was a step up from Arkansas? And it was just so interesting being in like that part of the country. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super crazy. When I went to Atlanta for the first time and I did my first all black room, it was like a whoa.
Yeah.
Like you gotta understand and have confidence or they are gonna hate you.
Yeah, and this was just I think the only 2 black people in Omaha, Nebraska also all did comedy, so the rest of the room was white, but
yeah. It's gonna be good though.
Yeah. I just knew it was like, okay, the rodeo I was at in North Dakota was very different than this open mic comedy in Nebraska, but yeah.
Yeah. Where else have you been that you really enjoyed that you want to go back to?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where else I've done open mics. Cause I've done stuff all over Florida. But I haven't I actually did a really cool room in Denver. The venue has since closed, but I thought the Denver crowd was pretty cool. I went out a couple summers ago for the Taylor Swift concert. I was like, well, while I'm here, I might as well try to do some comedy. And I got booked and paid. And I was like, oh, Florida would never. Like, they'll give you a little guesty for $5, but I did 15 and I got like $20 out of it. I was like, wow. Oh my gosh.
There
it was awesome.
That's real comedy.
Yeah, in a brewery.
Yeah.
It was classic. Yeah. No, it was cool. It's a place called Grandma's House. And so it was like a bunch of mismatched furniture and like figurines all over the walls. It was and quilts because it was Grandma's house. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was bummed when I heard they closed. I was like, that's the one place I did comedy.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you I feel like now I look back, like even though it's only been like not even 2 years, like it goes by like that.
Yeah, even this year it's August, and I will whenever this podcast releases. I'm not sure, but at
tomorrow.
The time, oh, perfect! Wow, the turnaround is crazy.
Yeah.
That's super impressive. Yeah, it is. It goes by fast. Like I just looked back on the beginning of the year, and I was like, oh my gosh, wasn't I just doing a holiday show or talking about what my New Year's goals were for the year? I was supposed to have 30 minutes by now, and I still am sitting at 25. But yeah, it does go by fast.
I'm still sitting at 5, but it's going by fast. No, I feel like I'm still like transitioning out of that like low hanging fruit era where I'm just it's not an original thought.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because it's hard for me to really, or I guess it's really just the procrastination in me that just doesn't want to sit down for more than, I'm like, 25 minutes writing? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. Like, I'm just really lazy and procrastinating, so I'm like not getting to those really deep thoughts that I want to get to versus just the low-hanging fruit, but I feel like I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Do you read comedy books at all? Like any autobiographies or anything?
No, I have the Lenny Bruce one that I started reading, but that's it. Just pretty much about how much fucked up shit he's done.
Oh, yeah. One of the best stand-up books I've read was Bob Saget's book. It's Dirty Daddy, and he talks about Los Angeles, like early days and everything. And he talks about, when you start comedy, that thing you do where you make fun of your name. And I was like, oh, yeah, everybody does make fun of their name when they start doing stand-up. Or like when I first started, I had to adjust my voice. Now I don't necessarily do that, but like it's like those first things that you do when you start doing stand-up. But I really enjoyed his book. It came out in 2014, so like I was pretty late to it because I didn't read it till after he died. But it was the most look at LA comedy I'd ever
seen. What's it called again? I'm gonna actually write it down.
Yeah, Dirty Daddy.
Okay, I shouldn't forget that. Oh, jeez. So how long have you been in Orlando for? Pretty much since you started?
Yeah, my home base for comedy has only ever been Orlando.
Okay.
Because, I moved out to Idaho during the pandemic. I lost my cruise ship job, and I reacted by moving to Idaho because other than that, I would just live at home, and I hadn't lived at home since I was 17. At that point, I was 24, 25. So I was like, can't do this. So I got a job out in Idaho. And then it turns out where I was, there wasn't too much entertainment going on, and I came from the life of cruise ships where I wanted to entertain and be on stage and do comedy. And I kind of wanted to go to Chicago, but there were a few guys who moved to LA, like Ray Reyes and Zach Bennett and Ben Brainerd, and they all talked about like how good it was to have the Orlando community, like when you move somewhere, rather than just being another person in LA or another person in Chicago or another person in Austin, like to have that Orlando home base. So I was like, okay, well, let's actually get stand-up material. Like, let's get you, talking to myself, it's like, let's get settled and figure out who you are as a comedian, and then from there you can take a jump. But yeah, get a home base in Orlando. That way when I go to Chicago or something, I have a home, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, I know these people from Orlando. And it just made a lot of sense to me, and now I'm just still in Orlando, but yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I tell, because I especially, like, I do go to Austin, like, 3-4 times a year, and I people are so surprised when I tell them that I'm not moving there.
Yeah.
That live there. Because they expect, everybody's, like, want to move here, which is great. If you do, that's fine, you know, whatever. Just, like, my personal circumstances, like, I'm in a marriage. I got a house. Like, I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah.
I got family nearby. When I have a kid, I'll be good. I got family nearby. Like, I'm cool with staying here, which I'm not saying it's bad to move either way, but it's like, I feel like I'm lucky that I am where I'm at because I'm, like, right in between Orlando and Melbourne. And when I do travel, like, when I've been to Atlanta, even, like, outside the country, people are like, oh, I'm going to come to Jacksonville, and I know Marcus.
Yeah.
And they're in another country. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so it's cool to, like, just, like, yeah, like, we all, like, it's almost like a family here. Like, it's like Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's a family. But, yeah, when you travel, you just, like, it is nice to have that, like, like, you're in the network.
Yeah, but you're in a community versus just doing it on your own, where I feel like, because some people are just moving to Austin and they've never done comedy ever, and they're just like, that's their exposure. So it's really hard and saturated, but Orlando, there's so much stage time and there's just less comics, so you can really get around and build your time. But yeah, and we're like I literally live next to the airport. If I want to go somewhere, I can go somewhere. And you can tour from your town. Like, you can just go and tour, you don't have to be in a big city just with the exposure that you can get meeting people or on social media. So there's other ways.
Yeah, it's not the olden days anymore.
No. You don't have to go to LA.
Yeah, which is what I feel like a lot of the people that are the biggest headliners now, like, Bill Burr, like Dave Attell, those were the days that they were living in.
Yeah.
Where they're all packing in a car, 4 people deep, 5 people deep to go move to New York City from New Jersey because that's where it's at.
Yeah, yeah.
And which I couldn't understand the passion behind it, but it's not like that anymore. Like, yeah, I'm not saying I would like this to happen, but it's probably not going to happen soon, like immediately. But like, people have their podcast blow up. And like, my goal would be, if my comedy is not caught up to where my podcast is at, I would just tour with people that are better than me.
Yeah.
And then just do a showcase. And then like, you don't have to move and do all these things to make something happen, as long as you're dedicated to the passion. I feel like whatever you're working on, it's not like, oh yeah, like, you gotta go here. You gotta do this.
Nikki, I mean, obviously she's already touring, but Nikki Glazer, she literally, Nikki Glazer, how do you say her last name?
Glazer.
Sorry,
I don't
Nikki.
know now.
But she literally has a home in Kansas City and just flies to LA when she feels like working.
Yeah.
Obviously she has money, but like, she's like, no, I like living with my family. I like living where I want to live. And then I can go to work versus like having to travel home, which I thought, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's different now, which is nice. I like that. You have any siblings?
Yeah, I do.
How many?
How do we want to talk about them?
However you want to.
Okay.
That's crazy. How do we want to talk about them? I've never heard that before.
Okay. I have 2 sisters and a brother.
That's hilarious. I got a brother and I never once have been like, how do you want to talk about him? Do you want to talk good about him or go like shit?
Okay, we'll just proceed with the conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was hilarious.
Okay.
So are you the middle child?
I am the middle child, yeah.
Okay.
I'm 3rd out of 4.
Yeah, so 2 brothers and a sister, if I caught that right.
No.
I'm still hung up on.
No, 2 sisters and a brother.
2 sisters and a brother. Okay,
Yeah.
I reversed it. Okay, so you're the 3rd or the?
I'm the 3rd. Yeah,
the 3rd. Okay, yeah, and the brother's the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like? Having 2 sisters.
Well, one died, so it's a lot different now. So I also am the true middle. That's why I wasn't sure how you wanted to talk about it.
Well.
Yeah, my older sister died 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then then I have my other sister. She's really close. She's in Tampa. But then my younger brother is just my younger brother. Literally, like, he's on Snapchat all the time and trying to let everybody know he wants to hang out, and so
DTF.
Yeah, not exactly that, but
okay.
Can I get a ride somewhere? But no.
Sorry, that was like the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, wait, he's probably still a kid.
He's 26, I think.
Okay.
I'm 30.
He's just your
just
baby
my brother. Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to know. What's
yeah, he
going
works
on
at Chili's. He's cool.
Yeah.
He's just still in my hometown.
Yeah.
I imagine it was hard for him growing up because he's quieter than us because we always spoke for him. So he didn't really develop his own voice. No.
Well, at least you recognize
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, that's good. I mean,
It's okay.
It's crazy. It's like I've heard you talk about it on stage and I just remembered after you said it. And I'm just like, well, I should.
We're just going to move forward.
I'm going to start doing research.
But that's one of the things is like whenever someone in your family dies or however, or what am I going to put out there? Like when people ask about my siblings, I'm like, okay, well, let's go. And then you're going to, well, what does your older what do your sisters do for work? I'm like, okay, well, now I actually have to tell them,
Yeah,
but
like,
if they're just,
how do you want to do
yeah,
this?
if they're just asking like, oh, about the sibling, that's fine. But it's like, oh, where do they live? Oh, well, she used to live in New Orleans. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I get that. I remember one time I lashed out on somebody in high school because, like, you know how when you internalize stuff and, like, you think, at least me, maybe I'm just psychotic, but I would think that people, when they would have general conversation, that some of it would be about me.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some sort of, and I would do that in high school after my grandpa died. And some girl was just like, we were going back and forth, like, your mom, like, just like joking. And then she said, your grandpa. And I was like, my grandpa just died. And I'm like, it's interesting how, like, did you ever have that where you would perceive the world in that way?
Yeah, where like you think that where it would naturally come up, or like the other person would ask and you're like, okay, do I tell them or not? Or how am I going to navigate that? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like maybe it's just human nature that we naturally think about that when we're in conversation with people. But yeah, I could understand.
Yeah. Back when I was in therapy, my therapist told me, I was like, well, if she was here, I would bring her up. So I'm not going to not bring her up just because she's not here, you know? So yeah. I'm sure your grandpa would agree. Even now, it's been 15 years that he just died. Yeah.
Right. Like it happened when I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I used to a lot come up with excuses to get, I don't know, a reaction or like just have a reaction. I think it's just because that's why I do comedy now.
You just want to push it. You just want to push it, yeah.
I want to be the center of attention.
No, I totally get that. When I'm on stage, like, sometimes they'll be like, I haven't even gotten to the sister stuff yet, and I'll, like, say something about a breakup or losing a job or whatever, and they're like, aw, and I'm like, you guys don't even know what I'm about to, like, tell you. So if you could get a little less sympathetic and more laughy, that would be amazing. Yeah.
I feel like that's always, like, people's, like, like, when you have to talk to somebody about it and they look more sad than you do.
Yeah. And you're like, no. Well, it's just because they just learned. Learned. Yeah, but that's why there's an art to talking about grief in comedy is, like, they won't care. You have to get them to care about you before they care that, like, in my instance, that my sister's gone. Like, in order for them to laugh, they have to care about me. So I can't lead with death, but I have to build it up. So I have to, like, perfectly sandwich. But I also don't want to end on death. So I have to, like, build my sets in a certain way to navigate that. But yeah, it's also hard when you want to work on jokes covering this. And there used to be this open mic Copper Rocket, and I'm like trying to work on these jokes where no one's there or the backs of people are looking at me instead of the fronts of them. And I'm like, I'm about to tell a bar of people who don't care that my sister's dead just because I want to figure out the wording of this joke. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's like so embarrassing working on these open mics.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, make it funny, but I'm also sharing something very personal with people who literally don't give a fuck. I'm like, oh my God.
Like, this guy's drinking a Heineken while I'm talking about when I lost my virginity. This is fantastic.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I mean, I feel like it's almost a relief in a way, though, to just relieve that like, not have any embarrassment. Like, not get embarrassed by anything, which is very hard for people to do, you know, to just be like, you know how like, if your mom would, like, embarrass you in public and you just wanted to stop, like, stop it. It's like, I feel like we build that reflex over time to just be like,
we don't even get the cringe anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't bother us anymore. I feel like I'm just now getting to that point, like, barely. Like, even sometimes in front of, like, if it's a new crowd or a new stage, I still get that, like, I can't be myself yet. I can't be But once I've, like, especially the stages that I've been doing multiple times, I'm like, oh, like, this is, like, it's almost like a chair that you sit in all the time, you know? It's just like
you've broken it in,
Yeah, it's, like, comfortable, and I can feel and be myself, and that's when I get the best results, too.
I feel that way on stage. I'm pretty comfortable most of the time, but it's the back porch of comedy that, like, is very intimidating, where, okay, which comedians am I going to navigate conversations with? How do I enter myself into this circle? Do I go stand by myself? Do I go sit and work? Like, so that has always been the hardest part of comedy for me. And when I first started, back when my friends were supportive and always at open mics with me, because when you first start, everyone wants to go see you at open mics. And so I would cling to my friends. And now I'm like, oh, I have to go work, and they're not there anymore. So it's easy. Like, but I'm like, the back porch was terrifying. I don't want to go back there. How do I talk to comics? But that's where the awkwardness and the embarrassment comes in for me. It's like, okay, am I allowed to stand and talk with them? But it's just silly. I live here. Like, this is my home. Like, why can't I talk? But
yeah, I know what you mean. It was the same way for me, especially, like, when you first start. Oh my God. I remember going to Mojitos over in downtown Melbourne. And Preach was running it, Preach Carter. And I came up there and I was like, oh, I heard this is an open mic. It was the first time I was trying to sign up. And I walked in to go sign up, and he was like, no, this isn't an open mic. You can't sign up. And I was like, oh.
I'm going to kill myself. Okay.
And it was the 4th time I tried to get on stage.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh, no.
God is just telling me this is not it.
My goodness.
It's time for me to move on.
Was he being serious though?
Yeah, 1,000%.
It was a showcase that night or something?
It was when they did the showcases, but like
my God.
somebody told me or I ended up going to a beachside the next week, and they're like, oh, now you can go to Mojitos. Just tell him I sent you. And I go there, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but I preach again. He was like, this is not open mic sign up. And I was like, oh, this person told me. And he's like, nah, that's not a real name.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, typical preacher.
So
now that I know
funny.
him, I'm just this is fucking hilarious. How intimidated I was.
Yeah.
And I still signed up anyways. Like, I busted through him. I was like, I'm getting on this fucking stage.
It's scary. So my first open mic, it was the Garden Room. It's not a room anymore. It didn't survive COVID, but the Garden Room, you would sign up on Facebook ahead of time. So Facebook, and they would pick the 15 names or whatever. And I thought whenever they mentioned all the names in the comment, that was the order. No, when you got there, you then had to sign up again. You were just pre-selected for the 15. So I was sitting there waiting, and I didn't know that I had to re-sign up, and they didn't know I was a comic because I'm a girl, so they just assumed I was a girlfriend or wife. Like, it never occurred to them that I was a comedian. And then I thought I was going second. I told my friends I'm going second. I literally went last because I didn't know to sign up.
Oh, shit.
I was like, well, that was my first open mic.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's funny because, like, I look back at all the shit that, like, I went through or just did, I guess. And I'm like, oh, like, I thought that was hard at the time.
Yeah.
And then I keep getting to, like, these other things, and I'm like,
oh.
It gets more and more difficult.
Yeah.
It's like playing a video game, like leveling up, and then just, like, especially when you travel, like, you're doing it almost all over again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know any of these people.
And you have to figure out, okay, they're carrying a notebook. Let's see what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's why when I host, and if I'm hosting an open mic, I do not assume based on what people look like or what they're acting like, because I know sometimes I don't necessarily look like a comedian, or at one point I didn't carry myself in that way. So I go around to everybody. I'm like, oh, are you here for comedy? Are you here are you looking to sign up? But so I do it for that, so that I kind of cover all the bases so they feel more included. And then since then, also, like, when I don't run the show anymore, but when I was running Propagate, I tip my guest comics, because I did a room one time and I didn't realize I wasn't getting paid because somebody did the same exact time as me and they got paid, but he was booked and I was a guest spot and I got nothing. So I was like, oh man, my guesties are gonna get $5 at least. So
yeah.
And if people tip or whatever, I'm like, my guest spots are getting paid, because I just felt so sick. I was like, this is so embarrassing that we did the same amount of time and I didn't get anything. So, yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, I've been learning too, because I just started running showcases and stuff like that. And politics is interesting.
Yeah.
Comedy.
And navigating the money. But my logic with the tipping is if they see 4 comics, they're going to tip $20.
Yeah.
But they don't know that only 3 of the comics are getting the money. But they tip 24 for comics. So I'm like, whatever. If I'm giving the money to the people. Anybody perform gets tip money. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, it's everybody needs to do that. Everybody.
Oh, yeah. I've only been looking at this camera. Hey.
Yeah, there's 3 cameras. We're about to shoot a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah, Rob Spiles movie. I was just making fun of him the other day. He was like, I don't know, everybody's on my dick about this movie thing.
Make a new catchphrase or stick to it even more. Those are your only 2 options.
Yeah. No, it's great. We were talking about how he boos people at other bar the other day. I'm like, Rob, you need to stop it.
But then, I don't know, sometimes sometimes booing is needed.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's like, these people need to know they suck.
Yeah, but then other comic, he'll be the same comic telling somebody who just ate it, oh, yeah, good job up there. I'm like, oh my God.
Rob's like, damn it, they're ending this talking shit about me. No, yeah, well, I want to keep going, but I think we've been in this for a good bit. Yeah. But yeah, no. So this was cool, getting to know you a little bit more. I definitely feel like we should do this again at some point.
It feels very natural.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
You want to shout out any shows or your Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
Or anything?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Danielle. Any shows that come up. You said this is coming out tomorrow, though, right?
Yeah.
I'm at Hilarious Women on Friday with Sarah Mays in Cape Canaveral, and then I'll be on a little bit of a hiatus for the Halloween season until about November. So yeah, Instagram's the best place to keep up with me in case I find a spot to do in between.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. It was great.
Thanks, Alex.
It's pretty
She keep working that back and I'm about to throw the shit like